Hey guys, welcome to a new video. Today we're going to be looking at a specific part of the new patch coming soon. Not everything that's on there, but one of the biggest changes I think, which is to lethality. AD carries are going to be back to suffering a little bit, I think, against tanks and assassins and bruisers, but let's get into why. Remember, giveaways all week, so leave a comment, like the video if you do to enter. But anyway, lethality items first. So all three items are getting changed, but the main things you need to know. Number one, the biggest thing that most people have missed with this is it scales with your level now, not the enemy level. If you don't know, lethality gives arm pen based on levels. So before, if you were ahead but attacking somebody like lower level, think of ZED snowballing, who is level 12 versus a behind AD who is level 10. The arm pen would base off that level 10 from before, so it would actually do less. But now it goes off the level 12, so actually lethality is a lot better when you're ahead in the game. It kind of makes sense, right? That's how it should be, I think. Lethality is an early game armor pen stat, and now that's going to hurt even more. This is a buff to mid and top lane, especially like solo laners. They get more experience in the game. They're going to be the highest levels, maybe in the jungle, and probably a nerf to AD carries using it. Another reason why it's so big is because all lethality items actually have more lethality on them now as well. So let's go over the item changes real quick. Lethality is up to 18 on all of them now. Dustblade got really big changes though that in my opinion make it by far the best lethality item, and it's insane for bruisers and assassins. The big thing with it is the passive mark damage is now physical and it scales with your level, not with how much lethality you have. It's a much better first item because you don't need other lethality items to make it worth. Like, it has cooldown reduction now, a very short 99% slow, and some more time to use the mark. Edge of Night has a change to make it more of a well-rounded defensive item. It gives health now instead of magic resist basically. Finally, with Ghostblade, the damage is down, but it's more geared towards mobility, and I think this is the only one that probably got a nerf. So we've gone over the biggest change, which is how it scales with your level, now what the items actually have, but also there is a better item pass with the Dirk upgrade. The Serrated Dirk, which builds into lethality items, right? And the Poacher's Dirk, which is basically a non-existent item right now. The jungle version that transforms into the Serrated one, both are going to be better. Now, after killing an enemy, the next damage spell will deal 50 bonus damage on a 30-second cooldown. So pretty cool, actually. It makes building into Dustblade even better in the lane phase, right? You have like more power even before you complete it. Also, junglers now have slightly better ganks, I guess, or more damage in the gank. And you only need to steal 3 large monsters from the enemy jungle to transform it, so we might actually see this item in a game now. The fourth thing is build adjustment. So Dustblade will be a first item now, I think, but also just very, very strong in most bruiser and assassin builds. You don't need to have Ghostblade or Edge of Night anymore at all. You can literally just get this on its own, but it's also very strong as soon as you purchase it. Basically, assassins are going to be even stronger at one item than before. The other thing is Black Cleaver. So the bread and butter of most AD champions, I think, like, they always get this, right? And you don't need more lethality with a Dustblade now, so you can go that item into a Black Cleaver. It gives you loads of cooldown reduction, flat and percentage arm pen, which both increase Dustblade mark damage anyway because now it's physical. It's pretty insane. Even just as an item on its own as Dustblade, right? You have 360 damage on it level 18, which is crazy. Cooldown reduction and dewarding as well. With the Edge of Night, it's going to slot better into builds and not just versus magic damage. So having like a Dustblade and an Edge of Night, then more Mortis later might be pretty cool for some champions. The fifth thing is Zed got a major buff from the new Dustblade, even though it might not seem like it. His ultimate stores physical and magic damage to do even more damage with the pop, right? Dustblade is now physical damage, not true damage, so it'll actually contribute to the ultimate bonus damage. Imagine a Zed late game dealing 360 damage already from the Dustblade, and then that part of it gets stored, added to the pop damage as well. That's like 500 bonus damage at least, surely. Not bad. Even early game, you're going to have bonus damage when you all in somebody if you get this first, so it's going to actually be better the entire game. It's kind of like having a bonus ignite worth of damage, I guess, like in a combo. The last obvious synergy is with Kha'Zix. So Dustblade deals up to 360 damage after being unseen for 1 second, right? That's kind of the condition. You have to be unseen and then you get this bonus damage. Now Kha'Zix can jump in and auto attack, then stealth, auto again for another proc, then stealth again and auto for a third proc. This item was always very good on him, right? But now that's close to 1,000 bonus physical damage in about 3 seconds. That seems unreal. AD carries have like 1,500 to 2,000 health, so that is a lot of damage. There are loads of things that could happen with this whole lethality change, but that's going to make this video so long. So Talon is another one who probably comes back after this. Shaco might use it as well, but either way, to sum it up, lethality now scales better on solo laners who have higher levels. There is more arm pen and lethality on these items, so just in general, you ignore more armor. Dustblade looks insanely strong after this and is probably a first item choice for a lot of assassins. And the last thing is you probably should ban Zed. Assassins have kind of been thrown under the bus a bit recently, so even as an AD carry main, main. It sucks for AD carries a little bit, it makes their lives a bit harder, but it seems pretty fair to me. I'm going to throw in another change real quick before we end the video because it also affects them and maybe assassins, but the new Thornmail is back on the PBE. We have a new item path with a Bramble Vest, so a new item. It only costs 900 gold, it gives you 35 armor and has a passive that reflects 20 damage and inflicts Grievous Wounds for 1 second. Now that builds into Thornmail, which is now 250 health, 75 armor, and it has 2 passives. The first one reflects magic damage equal to 10% of your bonus armor plus 25, and it also inflicts Grievous Wounds for 1 second. The second passive reduces attacker's attack speed by 15% for 1 second as well. So there's basically 4 things to think about with this, right? Number 1, tanks now have a 900 gold answer to mess with AD carries and AD champions in general, like a Riven, for example, or a Fiora. Number 2, reflection damage on Thornmail is based on their armor now, not your damage. So late game, you will take less damage, I think, but early, it's going to hurt a bit more. You just got to think as well, if you're ahead and critting for 1,000 damage or behind and critting for 500, you still take the same damage back from it. I think this is going to mean you will hate playing against this item if you're behind as an AD carry because you can't really do very much. Number 3 is going to reduce AD carry's attack speed by 15%, but number 4, Grievous Wounds now applies on you as well. And let me just explain why that's so bad. A really underrated way to screw with an AD carry, especially late game, is to apply Grievous Wounds. It cuts their summon a heal, but it actually cuts their lifesteal. Mortal Reminder, so the last Whisper upgrade late game against an AD, is actually really legit because they heal for so much less and they have a lot of lifesteal with really big crits. It's kind of more likely for them to die, really. Now against Thornmail, you really need 2 things. Arm Pen, so you can actually kill the tank, but lifesteal so you can survive the return damage. This basically cuts one of those counters to Thornmail by making lifesteal a lot worse, so it's a lot harder to get through. I think it's going to make AD carries lives harder in team fights now when you're playing against a tank. Like, you're going to feel like you're taking more damage from Thornmail and fights are harder because you don't heal as much. That's not necessarily a bad thing, to be honest, though. It was too easy, I think, late game for an AD to deal with a tank. Now you've got to play it a lot smarter. Now, saying that, I'm a little bit worried about one thing. When tanks get ahead and get this item, it becomes really painful for an AD. When the AD and tank are even in a game, I think it's pretty fair. Even when the AD is ahead, it still takes a while for the tank to die, and it is a pain, so it's pretty fair. When the tank is ahead, though, the reflection does more because they have more armor items, and the AD doesn't have both arm pen or lifesteal to have an answer. We're soon going to find out. It is a pretty cool change, but I bet some games it's going to be proper annoying to deal with. Even for like a Riven or Fiora, as I said before, any champion who relies on healing is going to really suffer. Now, that is all I wanted to talk about today in this video. There are more champion changes on the PBE. Maybe I'll go over them in another video this week, but thank you for watching this one, and for now, I'll leave you with the robots.